Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to today's class. Today is day 53 of our web development course. Today is day 53 of our web development course, and today we're going to look at data fetching. Data fetching, okay? Data fetching, okay? Okay. So this one here, we're going to look at data fetching. I'm going to introduce you to data fetching, okay? Yesterday, uh, let me just pass through a brief recap about yesterday. Yesterday was day 52. Yesterday was day 52. Yesterday was day 52. And yesterday we were introducing a concept whereby we're looking at asynchronous, 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 and synchronous behavior. And synchronous behavior. Synchronous behavior of JavaScript, okay? Synchronous behavior of JavaScript, okay? Okay. So members, yesterday this is what we looked at. And members, if you didn't cover yesterday's class, please I would urge you to go back and watch this video. Because this video here is what is leading us to today. And if you have no clue at all about what we studied yesterday, this one here, this behavior here, look at blocking, whereby if you do, for example, a synchronous, if you are doing the thing if you are doing synchronous, there is blocking, okay? There is blocking of events, there's blocking of tasks, okay? And when you are doing, for example, an asynchronous, when you have asynchronous behavior, JavaScript when it does asynchronous behavior, there is no blocking of tasks, okay? There is no blocking of tasks, okay? Things just work, they are flexible, everything is really good, okay? Of tasks, okay? Okay. So members, if you didn't cover yesterday's class, I'd urge you please go back and watch yesterday's class. Then you come today and you cover today's class, okay? Okay. So members, please go back, watch yesterday's class if you didn't cover yesterday's class. Because everything that we are covering today is a continuation from yesterday, okay? Okay. So let me take this one off. And I would like to hint about what we're going to cover tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be day 54 of our web development course. And tomorrow we're going to look at fetching all products. Okay? Fetching all products. Okay? Fetching all products. All products. Okay? We're going to look at fetching, just fetching all products alone. Okay? We're going to look at fetching all products alone. All products, okay? Okay. So members, please make sure that you come tomorrow when you are ready, okay? Okay. So members, if you have not yet hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button and the notification icon so that you don't miss any of the upcoming classes, okay? Okay. I would like you to be updated about this, okay? Okay. So members, this is what we want to cover tomorrow and this is what we're going to cover today, okay? Today I want to simply introduce you to data fetching. I'm going to introduce you to data fetching. So tomorrow we shall do the actual fetching of all the products, okay? Okay. I want to introduce you to data fetching, okay? Okay. So this is what I'm going to do today. Today. Okay? Okay. So I would like to introduce you to data fetching. So what is data fetching? What is data fetching? What is data fetching? What is data fetching? Data fetching. Okay? What is data fetching? Is the big question here. Okay? Data fetching. This is the process. This is the process of obtaining or getting information. Okay? information, or in brackets I can put maybe data, okay, from maybe maybe a server, can be a server, from, let me just not put maybe, from a server, can be a server, I put there a comma, it can be a server, can be a database, okay, or an API, okay, and bringing it after you getting that data, then you bring it and bringing it into your program. And this program can be maybe like a website, or an application, or an app, okay, an app. So that this data here, so that you can use it, or display it, as simple as that, okay. That is what they call data fetching, okay. This is the process of obtaining or getting information, or in brackets data, from a server, database, or an API, and bring it into your program, okay. The program can be, for example, like a website, it can be an application, so that you can use it or display it. As simple as that, okay? So let me first define even what an API is. What is an API? An API is an application, programming interface, okay? Interface, okay? This is an API, and this one here is where this one in here contains like our data, okay? So we're going to begin getting used to such concepts, okay? As time goes on, especially these things for a database. Someone who will follow me in the future, we shall be doing so much in here. Databases, shall be doing with servers. Those people will follow me in the future, okay? Those ones who will follow me in the future, we shall be dealing so much talking about these things, database, and even here API, okay. So let's move forward. I hope you're really understanding, okay. So as we move forward here, okay, there are two types. Today we are going to basically, for beginners, I'm going to dwell so much on the API. Okay? Application programming interface on the API. This API here is just like a link. I assume like a link, but it just contains all our data. It can be like any link, okay? This can be a link. This one can be like a link, which leads us to a place where our data is kept, okay? For the beginners, I'm going to first focus on API, okay? We shall go into databases for people who reach the senior pro level as we move forward, okay? So we have two basic methods of fetching data, okay? We have two main methods of fetching data, okay? And these two methods, the first one we have is we fetch data using promises. Fetching data using promises. Okay? Then the second one is fetching data using async, await. If you didn't cover yesterday's class, please go back and watch yesterday's video, okay? Because this will be very heavy on you. When you begin looking at these things, this is going to be really heavy on you, and you will see like, Please go back and watch yesterday's video if you didn't cover yesterday's class. Okay. So we normally have two main methods of fetching data. We have what we call when you are using promises, and there's where we're using async await. Okay. We are using async await. Okay. So we're going to first start with the first one, which is using promises. Okay. We're using promises. Okay. So here, where we're using promises, I want to explain this very well. Where we are using promises. So this step here of using promises majorly has 3 steps. Okay. This one here has this one has three major steps. Okay. So that's 3 major steps. Okay. This one here has where we have, for example, the three major steps, and these steps here, they can even be states. Major steps or states. Okay. Or states. Okay. The very first state for this one here is the pending state. Okay. Then the second one is the fulfilled state. Okay. The fulfilled state. Okay. Then we have the third one. The third one is the reject state. Okay. Third one is the reject state. Okay. So members, this is when we are using promises. We have these 3 steps or states. Okay. The first one is the pending state, the fulfilled state, and the reject state. Okay. So let me give an example here. That, for example, these people normally go for gambling. These people normally go for betting. Or I can call these people who normally go and bet, and they bet on these apps, who go for betting. Okay. So someone presses like a bet. Okay. And when you place a bet, okay, when you place a bet in the lottery or in a gambling a website, okay, there is what they call a pending state. That pending state is when you are waiting. You're just there waiting for the game to happen, or you're waiting for the game to start. For the game to start, or that chance to happen. For the game to start, or that chance to happen. Or that prediction to happen. Okay. So this is the pending state is this one here. When someone is there eagerly waiting for that prediction to happen. This is the pending state. Okay? The pending state. Okay. So when someone presses a bet and they're now waiting for that game to start or that prediction to happen, what they call the pending state. Okay? So when that prediction passes through, now let me talk about the fulfilled state. Okay? Let me talk about the fulfilled state. When that prediction passes through, you predicted that this team was going to score, or this was going to happen. Okay? When that prediction passes through, then they make sure that they fulfill your promise. They fulfill your promise. Okay? your promise of giving you money, of paying you. Okay, are you understanding, members, right now? Are you really understanding this? Okay, are you really understanding this? I'm using an example for betting because just because this is where it's mostly commonly used for someone to just easily understand. Okay, okay. So let me first drag this one a little bit up, like that. The pending state. We shall use this one sometime to come when we are looking at more into the generics. Okay. Okay. So and fulfilled state. Now let's go to the reject state. Now the reject state is the reject state. The reject state. The reject state. So the reject state, this one here you're seeing here, is when that prediction fails to happen. When that prediction fails to happen, when that prediction fails to happen, that prediction which you put fails to happen. Prediction fails. Prediction fails to happen. Fails to happen. This one here captures the error. This one here, the reject state, captures, it's just there waiting to capture the error in case that what you predicted fails to happen. Okay, it's just there eagerly waiting to capture the error. Okay, it's just there waiting to capture the error in case that what you predicted did not happen. Okay, okay, it's mostly used in this gambling. I'm just using an example for gambling because it's what you're going to use even this when you're dealing with errors. Okay, okay. So members, this is what the promise is all about. Okay, the pending state, it majorly has three steps or states. Okay, that's the pending state, which you can see here. Okay, when it's just now waiting. Okay, it is now in the waiting phase. Okay, just understand that it's in the waiting phase. Okay, okay. So then it has the fulfilled state. This is the fulfilled in case there is a success. Okay, this one is in case there is a success. Okay, in case there is a success. In case there is a success. Okay, okay. In case there is a success, it is there. Okay. Now, in case there is an error, in case there is an error, just waiting to capture the error. Okay, and that is where the reject state comes from. Okay, that's where the reject state comes from. Are you really understanding this, members? Are you really understanding? Are you understanding? Okay, are you really understanding? Okay, okay. This is the basic concept that we use when we are dealing with promises. Okay, promises, because they promise you. So when they promise you, you are here, you are waiting. You are simply waiting for that thing to happen. Okay? You are there in the wait. Okay? You are waiting for that thing to happen. Okay? You are there patiently waiting in case that thing is successful. Okay? Then we go for the fulfilled state. Okay? Then, in case there is an error, okay, then we go for the reject state. Are you understanding, members? Are you understanding this very well? Okay? Okay. Okay.
So members, here I'm moving down and I show you how it looks like. It looks like this. I want to show you how it looks like now. I come here. I want to create a function. I want to create a function that fetches data using a promise. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to come here and I created a function. A function is like this. Let me say large. Let me say the font family is Comic Sans. So I want to create a function that fetches data using a promise. Okay. Okay. So let me first come here and I come here in my lessons and I create, for example, a day 53. I come here, I move down. There is day 53, so I come here down. new folder, the 53 as you can see it's there. So I'm going to come here and I open with code. Open with code. So it's like that. So it's like this. It's coming. It's here. So I come here and I create here, for example, my index.html, and just my app.js, app.js. So here there is my index and app.js. So I come here like this. I put my images there, and I come inside here and I put here I can just put here JavaScript class. And I'll come here. Let me first think here. I put here script source app.js. I put here default the end here. Yes, it's like that. Now it looks like this. App.js is there. So now I want to now do a function that fetches data using a promise, okay, or promises. So I come here, I put here a function promises. I put here promises. I come here, I put here example one, and I come and put a function that fetches data using a promise. I put here function, okay, that fetches data, fetch data using a promise, okay. So this is how it looks like, fetching data using a promise. So this function here, it looks like this. Then I put here these codes, and I open the function very well. Looks like that. Now there's something that I want to show you. If, for example, we have an API above this function, okay. Let me just say that, for example, we have an API. You know, sometimes in most cases we first declare the API above here. If we have an API where we are fetching from data, we normally, in most cases, we first declare the API up here and say, for example, const API is equal to, and I put the API there, for example, HTTPS, like this slash fake app store, fake store API, api.com slash products. Okay, so this is the API that we have. We have a lot of, when you have any API, in most cases it's smart for us to first declare it up there, okay. So when you come here and now say fetch API, so we are now fetching from that API. So fetch API, as you can see, it's like this. So fetch API is the first one. Then you come here and then you put, for example, then, okay. When you put fetch, let me even first come here. Before I show you, I'm going to show you the structure, but let me first explain for you fetch. Okay. So when you use, for example, something like called fetch, when you happen to use a function called fetch, okay, look at this function here. This function here triggers or it sends requests. It triggers or sends multiple requests, or it can send a request or multiple requests to the server or to an API. It sends multiple requests to a server. Just understand that very well. It sends multiple requests to a server or an API.
or an API, an application programming interface. When you just put fetch, it sends multiple requests to the API. Just understand this very well, members. It sends multiple requests to the API or to the server. Once it sends those requests to the server, it now just waits for only one thing. It waits for only one thing. It waits. After sending those requests, it waits. Okay? For one thing. For one thing. For one thing. And that thing. And that thing. And that thing is the response. Is the response. Once it sends these requests to the server, these big servers here which are holding our data, or the API, it waits only one thing, and that thing is the response. So we are just waiting to capture that response which comes from the server or the API. From that response is where we get the data. Are you seeing, members? From that response is where we get the data. That response is where we get the data. Okay? Just understand this, members. It's very simple and very precise. Okay? Okay. So I just want to show you here. I come here after I put here the fetch API. I come here and I put here then. So it's just waiting for only one thing, the response. So when I come here, I put here response. I put here response. So the response is then I put an arrow function. I put there an arrow function like that, and I say response.json. Response.json. So this one here is like it turns the response into a JSON format, okay, which can easily be understood by the browser. It turns when you turn it into a JSON object, from that when you in most cases when the data is coming back, it cannot be easily understood, or it is more in a string format, and most browsers cannot understand that most browsers cannot understand that syntax. So when you turn it into a JSON format, you're turning it into a JavaScript object notation format. From that format, it can be able to extract or see what data is inside that object. Okay. So when you come here and say, for example, then it comes here and puts here data. Then you put here the arrow function. Then you come here and say console.log, CLG, console.log. Then you put here data. That's very data. Okay? Okay. So this is the data which comes back, and it's like that. So we're going to see these members. So then I come here and say dot catch. So let me first move this. I see. Then you put here dot catch. So this one here, it's just there waiting to catch the error. Okay, it's just there waiting to catch the error, as we explained there. Okay. So it comes here console.log. As you can see, something went wrong. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. Okay. Then you come here and you put here, which is error. So it captures, it puts this thing in case there is an error, and also it gives you the error back. Okay. So as you can see, it looks like this. So my function for fetching data using a promise is like that, and I come here down and I call that function. You remember functions, we normally call them back. We call it back. Okay. It's like a callback. So when I come here and put, now what I want is I want to come here and I put here, let me first go live, then I say it looks like, answer the data in the console, inspect, and I go to the console. So members, you can see that there's there's my array. The array has 20 items, okay? So all the items are here from that API. I have fetched all the data from that API using the promise, okay? I've used the promise, okay? Okay. So this is how we normally use the promise. This is how we normally use the promise, okay? This is how we normally use the promise. I can even come and maybe just copy this and I bring it here for someone to take some notes, okay? Okay. So it looks like this. I can come here. Let me just come here. Let me drag down. Someone will take some notes. I put it there. I put it there. Okay. Okay. So someone will take some notes. The API is there. Everything is there. Everything is good. So this is how we fetch data using the promise. Okay. Okay. But when you do it like this, it is more understandable. Okay. Okay. So this is how it is. Okay. Okay. So let us move down and we go now to another one. Let's go to another one. And this other one here is when we are fetching data using async await. Okay. This other one here is using, the second one is using async await. Async await. Okay. Async await. Now this one here is the most common one that we use. Okay. Members, the other one of the promise, also people use that one, but also the one which is mostly commonly used is when you're using async await. Okay. Async await is the most common one that we normally use. Okay. Okay. This version of here, this version of async await, this one here is instead of using the promise, it does not. This one is more straightforward. Okay. Okay. This one is more straightforward. This one is more straightforward. More straightforward. Straightforward. When you're fetching a lot of data, for example, tons and tons of data, this one here is this one is the most one which is most straightforward. When you're using a promise, you can even feel like when you're using a promise, you can sometimes and it can confuse you somewhere somehow. Okay. Okay. So this one you're using a async await. I want to show you something. I want to show you. So when you come here, I want to show you how we are going to do this. So I have here, for example, here when I come here, this is now going to be example 2. I want to show you how all of them they look. All of them will fetch data, but they just have a different syntax of doing this. Okay. Okay. So my API is here. So it's already here. I've already declared it here. But so I'm going to create another function here, fetching using async. Okay. Okay. So I come here, the function, then I put here fetch data, using async. Remember, you follow me exactly the way I'm taking these steps that I'm taking. Okay. Okay. So I come here, fetch data using async, and I come here inside here. Then I open and I say this is the most straightforward method compared to the other one for promise. Okay. Okay. So members, I want to explain to you again. Okay. I want to explain to you again. If you didn't understand this, understand it right now. Okay. Okay. So if we have, for example, a fetch function, this fetch function you are seeing here, its work is to fire requests. It fires requests, okay? It fires multiple requests to the server. It can be a request, it can be requests, okay? It fires, its work is just to do one thing, fire requests. Fire requests to the what? To the server. It fires requests to the server. This is the work of the fetch. It fires requests to the server. When it fires requests to the server, it just waits for only one thing. One thing. It's waiting for one thing. It waits for one thing. It waits for one thing. For one thing. okay, the response from the server. Okay, just understand that. The response from the server. Okay, the response from the server. The response, the response from the server. The response from the server. This is what it waits for. Okay, just understand this. Once you understand this one here, this is just going to be a walkover. Okay, it fires request to the server and waits for one thing, the response from the server. So you're using an async await function of fetching data. We just come here and say const, const. Then we say response. We are now capturing the response from the server. We are capturing the response from the server is equal to, okay, is equal to await, okay, await, okay, fetch API, okay, fetch API. Sometimes someone would put here the API as you see it here, naked API. Sometimes it's better for you to put it dynamically up here, okay? Okay. So when you make the function async await, this one here, instead of putting just plain function here, we come here and we put async. We come here and we put async. Okay? Then it becomes async function, fetch data using async. Then it comes here, const response is equal to await fetch API. As simple as that, okay? Okay. Now, when this response comes back, let us talk about this. When this response comes back, what happens? When this response comes back from the server, comes back from the server, it comes, when this response comes back from the server, okay, we extract this when this response comes back from the server, it is in raw form. It is in raw form. Okay? It is in raw form. Okay? It is in a form that it cannot be easily understood. It cannot be easily understood. It cannot be easily understood. Okay? Most browsers cannot understand when this response comes back. Okay? This response comes back when it is in a very, very, very weird string format. I can even put here, it comes back when it is in a very weird string format. String format. Or it can even be like a zip folder. Okay? Do you know what they call even zip folders? You know what they call zip folders? Zip folders. This was if you normally zip. I'm just giving an example, okay? It like zip folder, e.g. zip folder, okay? It cannot easily be understood when this response is coming back, okay? This browser, even if you come and say from this point here, and you come and say that you come at this point and say CLG console log, then you put here response, okay? Now I think you want to see the response, how the response looks like, okay? Let us go in the browser and we see how the response looks like. It's not even there. It's not even here because we are consoling from line 18. You're not consoling from line 8. Line 8 was for the promise. Don't forget these members. We are consoling from line 18 here. Line 18 here is not anywhere here on the console. It's not anywhere here. So it is not easily understood by most browsers. Okay? It is not easily understood. The response is in a raw format. It cannot even be open. Okay? It's like a zip folder that cannot yet be open. How do you open this zip folder? Let me put here a question. How do you open the zip folder? Open the zip folder, or make the response to be understood, or make the response to be understood. Okay? How do you make the response to be understood? you, what do you do? The step is very simple. You convert it into JSON, okay? You convert it into JSON. Members, Mark, understand this very well. You convert it into a JSON object, okay? You convert it into a JSON object, okay? When you convert it into a JSON object, here browsers will be able to understand it because this is a JavaScript object notation, okay? Browsers will be able to understand it easily. If you want to convert it into a JSON object, browser will not understand it, okay? Okay, so when I come here and I say, I move this console log here and say now const, okay, data we get back. I put the data we get back. I'm just trying to use as simple terms as possible, okay? Const data we get back, okay? I'm using the simple. I would have just put their data, but let me just put this for someone who is a beginner, okay? Okay, so I put data we get back is equal to await, okay? Await response dot json, okay? Understand this very well, okay? Okay, so when response dot json, so when I come here and say now clg now data we get back, just like this, okay? This is line 19. I just see line 19 now. So I come here, I put here, I have to call the function. I put here fetch data using async, okay? Data using async. So like this, okay? So when I come here in my browser here and see line 19, are you seeing line 19? It also brings for me the data. Are you seeing how the data looks like? It brings for me the data, okay? The data is there, okay? Okay, the data is all here. You see line 19 up here.js line 19, which is here, okay? Line 19, which is here, okay? We are now bringing the data, okay? Okay, so remember sometimes I'm not always going to be using this data we get back. Sometimes I'll always be just cutting it like this, and I just say here data. Okay, this is more professional and looks more nice and more neat. Okay, okay. So const data we get back is equal to await response to JSON. We convert it to a JSON object. JSON object, it will be easily understood by the browser. Are you understanding this, members? Understanding this, members? Okay. Hope everybody has really understood this. Okay. Hope everybody has really understood this. Okay. Okay. But when you do like this, when you do like this, of course data can come. Now I want to pose some questions here. Let us go down. What if you are fetching data and the internet is slow? If you fetch data and the internet is slow, and the internet is slow, this data may not even appear. Are you seeing? If you fetch data and the server is broken or the API is broken, if you fetch data, if you try to fetch data and the API is broken or has just been changed, okay? These are all what they call errors. These are errors which happen. These errors here happen. If you don't prepare for these errors, they will break the whole application, okay? You have to, when you are fetching data, you always have to prepare for such errors to happen. Data can fail to appear due to some reason. It can be either the internet, it can be either the API is broken, or you can even misspell the API. Instead of writing something like this, when you come here, you just put here just Z. Instead of putting products, you just put here Z. Data won't appear. data will not appear. Okay, data will not appear. Okay, okay. So just you have to prepare for anything that can happen. Okay, so doing it like this, it is you put yourself in danger. In case it fails to happen, the application will break. Okay, in case that fails to happen, the application will do what? Will break. Okay, okay. So what I'm going to do, we're going to use a try catch. I come, I copy all that, I cut all the data, and I put here try catch. Okay? So inside the try catch, we normally put what we are expecting, like this. All of it, we put it inside here. Okay? But then we prepare for the error in case the error happens. If the error happens, we are prepared for it. Okay? In advance. Okay? Okay. So in case an error happens, if we fail maybe to see the data, I come here and say console log. See here, console log. And then I insert error. Okay? I come here and say something went wrong. Something went wrong. Something went wrong. Okay? Then I can even put here something like an error to see the error. Okay? Show me the exact error which is happening. Okay? Okay. So let me just try this and I show you. In case there is an error, yeah, what happens? Let me say, for example, just instead of putting products, you just make a spelling error and you forget just this, or that is, or you just put Z, or you just put X, yeah, and you fetch data, and the API you have misspelled the API. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? Let's see what's going to happen. You see, it has prepared for the error. Something went wrong. It brings for me the error. The error is this one here. Doc type, there is not a valid JSON like that. Okay? Okay. So members, if you don't prepare for the error, it will not show. The application will just break from the other side. Okay? So you have to prepare for the error in case that error happens. Okay? In case you have a slow internet, in case there's a misspelling in the API, or the API from the other side has been changed. Okay? Okay. So you prepare for the error like this. Okay? Okay. So everything will be good. Just put the S back. So you have to make sure the API is exactly as it is. Okay? Okay. So the S is coming back, it is there, and our array is here. Everything is good. Everything is good. Okay? That's here the ID, the title, everything, the price, the description, everything is good. Okay? Okay. So I hope you have understood very well how to fetch data from an API. Okay? Hope you have really understood this. Okay? So for me, my basic emphasis today is fetching data from using an async or per promise. Okay? Okay. Hope you have really understood this. I can maybe come and copy this and I put it here for someone to take some notes. Come, I bring it, I copy it, I bring it here for someone to take some notes. Okay? Let me first Control Z, I take it back. So I bring it here. So I'm gonna take some notes. Okay? Okay. So I hope you have really understood this. Okay? Okay. So I hope this has been a very good lesson. It just introduces you to API. Please try to practice this, practice this, practice this. I'll see you tomorrow. I think today we're going to end here. I'll see you tomorrow's class, okay? Okay. So have a very good day. We shall meet tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification icon so that you keep updated upon all the upcoming classes or upcoming lessons, okay? Okay. Have a very good day.